Welcome to the Levrige Show. This is Brett Ingram. And in today's episode, I want to share with you 5 characteristics that great high-performing websites all share. Now, I've created dozens and dozens of websites in probably over the last 10 years or so. And there seem to be 5 characteristics, and there's a lot of different things you can do with websites, and some of it comes down to exactly what it is that you want your website to accomplish. But the fact is, there are 5 characteristics that seem to be fairly universal. And if you want your website to produce results for you, whether that's to get leads or whether it's to make sales or whether it's just to make your company look professional, there are 5 things that you want to make sure that your site has, because these will make a big difference for you. Now, the first characteristic is right away, people want to know, how is this going to benefit me? So you want an unmistakable big benefit listed on your site. Now, there's a lot of different ways to do this. This can be done through images. This can be done through a big headline. It could be done sometimes through, even if your company name or your slogan. If whatever it is shows that big benefit, then people are drawn into that if they're the target audience. So, for example, if you had a weight loss website and your site was, great weight loss by Alan or whatever, that's not really a great benefit. All that's telling them is sort of what your company name is, and that's really about it. But if you had a headline on there that said something like, lose 30 pounds in 30 days, boom. Now you've got right there something that's going to draw in. If I want to lose weight and I know that I'm looking for the right solution, look, there's a ton of competition in that space. There are a lot of weight loss, experts out there. There are a lot of different ways to go about it. But now if you're telling me that I can lose 30 pounds in 30 days, you've got my attention. Okay, so that's step 1. Because you have about 6 seconds. When somebody hits your page, you've got about 6 seconds to draw them in, and they're going to make the decision to either stay or leave. And so if you hit them with the big benefit right off the bat, you're much more likely to get them to stay on your page. Now, the second thing is a clean look and feel. Now, this can be confusing for some people because it doesn't mean that you need to have a website that is just a big white page with some words and stuff like that on it. What I mean by clean look and feel is something that's easy on the eyes. If I go to your web page and it's attractive and it's easy for my mind and my brain and my eyes to look at it and absorb what's on there, then you've got the right kind of look and feel. And so there isn't an exact formula for this. This is more of a sort of a visual thing. And the best way that you can test whether or not your website has this is to actually ask other people that you know to go look at it. People that you know that will be honest with you. If it's confusing, the mistake that I see a lot is people want to put every single speck of information about themselves, about their product, about their services, about all that other stuff on their site. And it's fine to have that, but you don't want to jam all that on the main page. First of all, your customer, I hate to say it, doesn't really care about you. What they care about is the benefits that they can get by using your product or service. So while it might be nice to see sort of your name in lights and to be able to pat yourself on the back for being an entrepreneur and all you've accomplished in your life, and you should certainly be proud of that, you want to bury that on a back page somewhere because people don't really care. Now, if you're a personal coach, then it might be a little bit more relevant because you are literally selling yourself. But for the most part, rule of thumb is the stuff about you want to have it on there in case people are interested, but you don't really want that stuff on the main page. You want a clean look and feel, which means enough spacing between elements. If you have a paragraph of text and you have an image, you don't want those things jammed so tightly together that they run together. If you have, different text blocks and different things, you want to make sure that it's easy to look at and that the eye sort of flows along it when they see the page, and not everything all jammed together or stuffed into a tiny little space. The third characteristic is you want your site to be very easy to read. Now, by easy to read, it might sound very similar to clean look and feel, but it's actually totally different. For easy to read, now we're specifically talking about the text, the content that's on your site. And the key to this is to make sure that the content on your site, that your font size is large enough and that you use the right colors. Okay, so for font size large enough, first of all, on a website, 12-point font might work if you're writing out a term paper and you're passing it in for a grade in college or high school. 12-point font, for the most part, too small for a computer screen, especially as we get to a point where now we've got more people reading stuff on mobile devices, which are tiny, and we've got more people reading things on gigantic screens where now you're going to have so much text on there, they're going to see it, it's going to be overwhelming. You want to use a larger, type font. I would say a minimum 14-point. Sometimes I use 16 or 18-point font. And you want to make sure that you use fonts that are easy to read. Serif fonts that have those little lines at the top and bottom help the eye flow along the page. Those are better. Now, sometimes the artistic fonts look really cool, and there's a temptation to want to use those. You can use them for headlines, but be really careful about using those in body text because a lot of times it makes paragraphs hard to read. Again, the best test for this is the simple eye test. Just get somebody that isn't affiliated with your product or service because you're going to love your own stuff. No matter what it looks like, you're going to love it. Get somebody from the outside that has no connection to it and find out what they think about reading your site. Is it easy to read? Is the text big enough? Is it clear enough? And here's another thing. With fonts and colors, make sure that the colors of the fonts don't blend into the background. Make sure there's enough contrast between the font color and the background color to make it easy. General rule of thumb, again, it's not an absolute, but most of the time, you don't want to use inverse font color. What I mean by that is you don't want a black screen with white text for body fonts. It's fine for headlines, it's fine for subheadlines, but for body text, it's really difficult to read when the background is black and the text is white and it's small. People are trying to read it, they end up squinting. If it's work for people to understand and absorb what your site is about, what your offer is about, what your products are about, what benefit, they're gone. There's too much competition. So you need to make the job as easy as you possibly can for people to navigate your site, to understand the value that you're giving them, and to be able to take advantage of that value. And that is the fourth characteristic is a clear call to action. This is a big mistake I see a lot of people make. They might even do all the rest of it, but their site is like a corporate website where it just has like a bunch of links like about us and what we do and stuff like that. It never says what action you want the person to take. When they're on your website, tell them specifically, click this button to buy the product now. Enter your name and email address to get our free report now. It's best to pick one main call to action, at least on your main page. If you want to have like a sign-up form on one page and a buy button on another, whatever your sales process is, you want to put that first step of that sales process right on the main page, and you want to put a clear call to action. You may want to repeat it a few times, put buttons or forms throughout the page. So that way you give people multiple opportunities to do it. Or you may want to put like a feature box right near the top where you've got all of that. But you want a clear call to action. What do you expect them to do? Okay, so I can lose 30 pounds in 30 days. Great. Now what? I have to click through 5 different links to find how to reach out to you? No. Sign up here for my free report to learn how to do it. If you have a report that you're giving out, then you capture their email address, and now the report is going to have additional information about how to buy. Or click the button here to sign up for our 7-day free trial. Or click the button to grab our, fat killer system for the discounted price of just $199.99 or whatever it is. Clear call to action right there. And then the fifth element is you always want to have the action above the fold. Now, what I mean by that is, again, what's really attractive about websites is that unlike a storefront where you have limited window space, you could jam as much garbage onto your site as you possibly want. You could cram it with content and images and all this other stuff. But what people are going to see first is what's called above the fold, which is what instantly hits them when they land on your page without scrolling. You want to have that action and that big benefit above the fold so people can see, boom, in an instant, okay, I can lose 30 pounds in 30 days. Click here to buy the system. Great. Now I know exactly what you want me to do. I know exactly what the benefit is. I may not click that button, but now I know exactly what I could get if I want it. Now I may be interested enough to at least scroll through the rest of your site, see what else you have to offer me, and then decide whether or not I want to buy it. But those 5 elements are key elements for any website online to get better results. There are 5 characteristics of high-performing websites in just about any niche and any industry out there. As always, if you have any questions or comments, share them with me at levrigeshow.com or tweet them at #levrigeshow. And until next time, make it happen.